Morning everyone. It's been a little while since I made a video. I've got memory card issues with my GoPro, or my GoPro's junk, one of the two, but it's pissing me off. I've made 2 videos now. Well, I've done the footage for them and nothing took. I get like 2 videos out of each of them and then it would quit. So I ordered a new memory card. We'll see if this is any better, hopefully. Today it's supposed to be warming up today and tomorrow. It's February 2nd. My big woods, it's about 1,200 taps. I got finished up tapping on Monday. Got the pump all in place, but I'm gonna turn it on this morning. It's about 32 degrees right now. I thought about turning it on the other day, but I had to go to work and I didn't want to turn it on at the end of the day and not be able to check on it and make sure that everything was good. So I've got the co-pilot with me, the woods manager, and we'll get this pump turned on, see if we can get some sap. It probably won't run enough today to do anything. The first run or half a run I let run on the ground anyways. But we'll get the lines flushed out so that we can stick the line in the tank. Tomorrow looks more promising as far as temperature. There's a little bit of a low pressure coming through that'll help. So I may throw the line in the tank. We'll see how we do. We do have our new monitoring system set up over there. It's not working perfect. I've got a distance issue there, but I'm working with Jeff at Sap Spy to see what we can do. It may be next year before we really get it figured out, but I'm gonna make a couple adjustments today and see if we can get this thing figured out so that I can sit at work and watch the sap run. So my big woods goes back about 2,500 feet from the releaser to the last tap. But the releaser is about 300 feet from the road. So I'm down here at my releaser building right now. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna close the valves in here so that when I fire up the vacuum pump, I can kind of bring the vacuum down in short distances. That way I can kind of check for leaks as I go and just make sure everything's tight. So I'll start with closing up these valves. It's nice and warm in here. The main's closed. Drain on the releaser. I should probably plug it in too so that it's ready. This is inside our releaser building. So the releaser is what takes the sap, because there's vacuum on all the tubing, and the releaser gets the sap away from the vacuum. And the way we do that with this one is there's a deep well pump in it. So looking at it, you've got the main chamber here where the sap runs in. And if you look at my lines, you've got A, B, and C. That's where the sap runs in from up top, the bottom, and the middle. It's just the way I laid it out. And then D, that's the dry line. That's where the tree gas comes out. That goes all the way back. Down here on the bottom, this is where that deep well pump is. So in there, there's basically a well, it's exactly that, a well pump, and it can pump out because we've got to overcome that vacuum that's on there, and it pumps up in the air. When we do that, there's also about 30 feet up in the air of lift to get it so it gravities to the road, because we're kind of in the bottom of a hole. So we've got heat taped to the pipe that keeps that from freezing, so that in the morning or late at night that'll still run. So we'll plug that in later. This is the moisture trap. So if the releaser gets flooded, I forget to turn the pump on, done that before, that'll fill up. There's a switch in there, shuts the vacuum pump off so we don't ruin the vacuum pump. But we've got it off at our main inlet coming in, off on the drain. The drain's closed down there. We'll go up and we'll get this vacuum pump turned on. All right, so here we are at the vacuum building. Right here, it's only 60 foot, 80 foot from the road. It's not very far. And our vacuum line goes in this big 2-inch line. That's what goes down to the releaser building from the vacuum pump. And then the gray one coming in here that turns to blue, that's what the sap comes in. So we pump it up 30 feet out of the releaser, and then it gravities down to here and goes into the tank. This tank's 1,500 gallons. Generally, these trees will fill it up in a day, is about on a great day. So we got our new monitoring system set up. Let's get this vacuum pump turned on though and see if we'll get some sap today. Our vacuum pump here, this is a 3-horse, 3-phase pump. We don't have 3-phase power here, but we've got a phase converter that takes it and it turns that single-phase power into 3-phase, also known as a soft start. Where it's been cold, the pump will overdraw through the drive and it won't start because it's too cold. The oil's too cold. It just doesn't like to spin. So on my way home from work this morning, I swung in, turned the heater on the pump, so this thing should kick right up and not have any trouble start. So here's our frequency drive, and I can tell that we're in good shape right now because my top number went right up to 1,700. That's my RPMs. But I've got it set in remote monitoring. There's a sensor on the pump itself that right now I think it's set to about 27 inches of vacuum. So it's up to that right away, but it's able to, now it's idled down. So it's got full vacuum on it because everything's closed down to the releaser building. It's idled down to 900. So most of the year, this pump sits at 900 RPMs, a little over it. And that means that I've got perfect vacuum. Every now and then I'll have something opened up and it'll take off and the vacuum will go down. This thing will boost up the RPMs to counter that so that we can keep perfect vacuum. And this thing doesn't bring nothing for power compared to the old 5-horse Massport pump. But let's go down, we'll move the vacuum up to the other spots. So I've got a 3-inch valve that comes in that'll bring it to the moisture trap and into the releaser. So we'll get this open up. You're gonna hear a rush of air. I don't hear any leaks here. Our vacuum level's right up. We're sitting at 27 inches, 27 and a half inches of vacuum. So now we open up those valves and bring the vacuum up to the woods. So I'm gonna open up my dry line. See? The B line. Whoop, there's some ice. And now the 8 line will open up. And you can really hear that vacuum coming down. There's some ice in these fittings that make it whistle. And we'll see how we're doing in here now. The vacuum level is climbing now. And what that means is we've got to evacuate all the air out of the system. So that whole system's closed up. It should be. I think I got all the valves closed up there. And now we need to get all the air out of those pipes and get them under vacuum. So it's going to take a minute, but we'll see how this goes. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to check my SapSpy app. So my phone, I open it up. So right now on my app, I can, from my phone, no matter where I am, I can see what's going on. I know that right now at 10:29, it's 34 degrees and there's 19.8 inches of vacuum on the system. Now, up top it's not reporting. That one's not linking in. And this one linked in at 10:05. So it just hasn't reported in, but that one should take off too. Now that system allows me from the palm of my hand to know what's going on with tank levels, temperature, and vacuum level. It'll also predict how much sap I'm going to be getting based on what the flow rate's doing that day on the tank sensor. So it's really going to make my life easy. But so you can see the pump's really cranking right now. It's sitting, it's only an 1.5 inches, 1.6 inches of vacuum off from where it wants to be. I got to move the sensor. So my sensors, I just put it on the side of the building because it was easy, but I really need to get it up higher, and I didn't bring the ladder with it. And that's to try and get it so it'll read a little bit better. So I'll see if I can figure out a way that I can get up there and do this without killing myself. So I already know I got to get an extension cord for that monitor. It just doesn't reach with the cord I've got, but I put it up higher to try and get a reach out. I'm wondering if too this tank was stealing some of the signal from the sensors up top, but the pump's still running pretty hard. I've got to have something open up above, must be. I've just got to go find it now. There's a valve open somewhere is my guess. It's just been running too long. And so the way this lays out from the building out to the B system, and this is our lower piece of woods. It's a little bit colder down here. There's like 250 taps in here. The B system covers it, but the B line goes all the way out, and then B1 jumps off it out to the four-wheeler trail, and so does B2. But we'll check both ends because I got valves at them. This whole system has got 3 sap ladders built into it, so we do have to lift it, and we'll check here. So what I'll do is I'll close this valve now, and now we'll listen. Yep, found one of them already. Right there's the squirrel chew. That's a good find. Of course I didn't bring my tools with me though, so I gotta go get those. So I'm just hitting home runs today. I left my tubing cutters in my bibs because I didn't bring them. I just wore jeans today. And then my next tool, my side cutters, well, those are my coat pocket, and I didn't bring that. Where this is so close right there, and there's enough of a loop, I'm just gonna cut that out. That way I've just got one fitting in the way. Now you put a splice on, but you gotta make sure it's going that way because it hooks on the wire. So there is a little bit of a leak there. I'm not gonna chase that one too hard, but this is the one that we just fixed. The big thing I'm gonna do today is try and find the big leaks. So I'll run up to the next one. We'll go to B2 now. Here's B2. We'll close this one, see if we get a leak here. Let it sit for a minute, then we'll open it. Nothing there. It's running a little bit. There's some ice in that fitting though. So this sap ladder is probably 6 foot here. That one's about the same, maybe 5 foot, and then there's probably, oh, maybe an 8 footer right next to it. So this pipe is all brand new. This is what I put in this year. This is where I ripped out that other guy's pipe that he'd left on the ground and in the air. So this is a pretty good spot. There's 150 trees here, something like that. We'll check this one. Nope, no leaks on that one. And this one, I didn't expect there to be any leaks on, and the big reason for that is it's all brand new pipe. So the squirrels haven't had time to do their magic on it yet. So we'll head back to the four-wheeler and go up and check some other ones. So I'm here now at the C system. So from the bottom it goes B, C, A up at the top. Kind of confusing, but it works for me. And this is our biggest sap ladder. This one's probably got, I think it's 400 taps coming in, something like that. And this one goes up about 10 feet. Nope. All right, right here at the C main, close this one. And this will do the rest of the C system. Nope, nothing. So I'm gonna skip this one and we'll run up top and check A, because if it's good right there, it's probably good up top. Oh well, the rest of the system probably isn't. We're gonna check big areas first. All right, A1. Let's see what this one does. This one's got a leak. I already know it. Ready? We're gonna listen. That's a good one. This is where my big leak is. So now I'm gonna check this whole line while I'm here. See if I can find it. And I'm gonna go and I pull my loops down where they come onto the main, and I look and I follow the sap bubbles. And where it's moving slow like that, there's no leaks. But I think we're gonna hear this one from a little ways away, but The other trouble is the sap's not really running right now, so it's gonna be hard to find this one. But I think I'll hear it as big as it is. I can hear something up here. Something's leaking. So I just come up and I heard a whistle on this one. You can see it from here. Somehow I missed a tree when I tapped it, or the drop popped off. There's a leak, but I'm not sure if I drilled a hole in the tree or if I missed it. I think somehow I walked right by it, and I don't completely know how. So this is why I didn't turn the pump on the other day when I wasn't going to be able to check lines, because it would have been running wide open the whole time. So now I'll get all these taken care of, get my vacuum level up, and then have a little bit of comfort for the season. I can still hear a leak up here someplace. See if we can find it. You look, you can just barely see those bubbles. By them not moving, there is no leak there. Now I can really hear it. Found it already. Those fast moving bubbles mean that somewhere up there, there's a leak. Now we're just gonna find it, but I think it's a small one. It's probably just a squirrel chew. Now this one's gonna be hard to find because the sap's not really running. So it doesn't give me a good basis to find it, but it's a small leak, so it won't really mess with things too bad. I don't think I'm gonna find this one today. It's a pretty small leak and it's not running. Oh well, we'll get it another day. So I'm here now. This is A2. This one picks up about 130 taps. So we'll check this one for a leak. Yep, there's a leak on this one. So we'll walk this one now. Another one that I somehow went right by. It needs to be like another 5 degrees. The wind picked up a little bit, which hurts the sap flow, because I can't find all these leaks based on the loops, but I can hear them, which is drops that somehow I missed tapping, which I'm not really excited about. Oh yeah, I found it. Should be on this one. Yep, of course, all the way at the end of the main, and it's one that I somehow walked right by and didn't tap. So this is the top of the wet dry that comes up from the vacuum system in the bottom of A3. So A3 runs out to our last taps. Now here, I've got the valve on it again. I'm gonna close it. I think it's got some ice in it still. I can tell stuff's moving, and I know I got vacuum at the top because I opened up the valve at the top. But no big leaks. Well, I found my problem. Somehow I missed an entire lateral line up here, and I'm not sure how. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 trees. That was kind of dumb. We'll get these tapped now. These beech trees are wreaking havoc on me right now. We've got just enough wind, and they're still hanging onto their leaves, that's all I hear is the beech tree leaves rustling, and I can't hear leaks. Now granted, I'm only going to find big leaks today, but some are better than none. So I made my way down. I'm at the start of A1 now. This is one that had those 7, 8 taps. Well, actually, I think it was closer to 10 now, that were not tapped by some genius. Now we'll close it and see what happens here. Nothing. I got that one tightened up. Winning. One of the things that Jeff at Sap Spy said is that these nodes that are further out in the woods that aren't reporting back like they're supposed to, is to try and get them as high up in the air as I can, and that'll make a difference. This one's probably, I don't know, 4.5 foot off the ground. I'm gonna see if I can drag it up quite a bit. Kind of a pain to get that up there, but now it's probably 10 foot off the ground, and we'll see if that'll make a difference. This one's 1,500 feet back from the other hub where it has to send the data to. Hopefully it'll make a difference. I'm going to move the other one up on the A1 and 2 line too. There, we'll see if that one makes a difference. Now it's probably 12 foot in the air, 14 foot in the air. That's a good one. So by doing that, by raising up 2 and 3, I just pulled a reading, and instantly we're at 24.3 inches on both lines. That ain't bad for just moving it up 12 foot. Now the other one down below, it's still not reading on one leg, but that tells me that that side's probably froze up coming in, so that one may take a minute. Now I'm back at the vacuum pump, and I can tell that I'm in a lot better shape. I gotta get inside here. The eaves are dripping on my head. I'm in a lot better shape here, and I can tell that because my RPMs are down on the pump now. So this is saying 23. The monitors and the gauge down at the releaser are saying 25 inches. So I'm not sitting crazy, and I could turn the pump up a little bit more and try and get some more vacuum out of it. But it's holding pretty well where I've got it set. So I think for right now, I'm gonna leave it. Now, if you're on Instagram, you need to follow the page for Chalk Pond Retrievers. She's up in Bethel, Maine, and she does laps. And her big thing is to go walk your dogs. Well, I do that the lazy man way. I run mine.